You can never fall too hard, so fast, so far that you can't get back. When you're lost, where you are is never too late. So bad, so much that you can't change.
This is the Wally Show, and this is pretty cool, man. We have a band on that we've never had on the show before. We have Chad and Mike from the band Unspoken. Welcome.
What's up?
Yeah.
We always clap for ourselves because it sounds
like that.
That's awesome. It sounds big, too,
Thank
with
you.
three of us clapping. So here's the thing, man. Thank you and congratulations on actually writing a song that I'm not sick of yet.
Hey,
I
appreciate
still
that.
love that song. You guys did a great job, and hopefully there's going to be a lot more to come from you, and we'll get to some of that on the show today. But here's the thing. You guys... We always have that phrase, and the rest is history, you know, and everybody thinks bands make it overnight kind of thing.
That's what happened to us.
Oh, really? It was an overnight thing?
Not at all.
Okay,
10 years.
Because, you guys have been doing this for a while, and you guys met in a kind of an unusual way. Usually you meet your bandmates in high school.
It's college.
Or like the local Jam magazine where you took out an ad looking for the other cool Christian kid in town. So how did you guys actually officially become Unspoken?
Well, I went on a trip to the Dominican Republic. My life was a wreck. I grew up in a great home in Maine. My family loved the Lord. All of that good stuff. I really believed in Jesus, and I probably got saved at least 50 or 60 times.
I did too. I went to a Christian school every week at Spiritual
altar
Emphasis
call.
Week. I was like, dude, I'm a mess. I know. But then I'd go back and do my drugs and do all my other nonsense.
Well, that's essentially my story too. But
Sorry, I didn't mean to take your story.
No, you know.
Yours ended
Let's talk
cool.
about you.
No. You know what? That is a good idea. Your story ended up way cooler than mine, though. You ended up in a rock band. I ended up pushing buttons for rock bands.
Yeah, well, you know, God's using us both, thank God. But
You don't mean that.
I do. I actually do. But not until I was 20, around 20-ish, I got into using drugs and alcohol. And I was 6 days sober in 3 years, and my life was literally a wreck. And my brother brought home a card from a missionary and said, hey, these people preach at our church. Here, I just felt like I was supposed to give you this, and maybe you should do something with your life. And I was like, it stared at me for 3 months. And finally I called these missionaries and said, I don't have a group to come with, but could I come and hang out with you? I would love to come and serve and do something. And so he called my pastor, which I was trying to convince him not to.
Yeah, I would have been terrified of that if I was you.
Shoot.
But he was honest and said, the kid's a little sketchy, but he comes from a good home. And, we think this would be a great opportunity. So they said yes. And there's so much more to the story that's really cool stuff that God provides. When God, is prompting us to do something, we just go for it. And he really does take care of the rest. But so I flew in February 4th, 2003, from Boston, Massachusetts to the capital of Dominican Republic, which is Santo Domingo. And we drove 4 hours north into the middle of the country. No ocean, no resort. No, nothing.
Yeah, this isn't like the brochure. You're like, wait a minute.
It's my town you're talking about. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because now you're actually
from there.
from
But
there.
the people are great, except
right,
for Mike.
Yeah,
We'll
Mike
get
is
into
from
that.
there. Okay.
But so I went there, and basically I took an hour every day, and I started reading my Bible and praying. And that's when the Spirit of God came into my life and gave me the power to live right, and the power to, realize that this walk of faith is exactly what I was looking for. I just didn't get it before. I didn't get that all God wanted from me is my heart. And I actually, Casting Crowns is a new song that I actually kind of am digging right now, but we won't talk about their music. Unspokenmusic.com.
Yes.
But anyway, so I read the Bible and I prayed. God changed my life. Romans 12:2 says, don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. New Living Translation says, let God change the way you think. And that's exactly what happened to me. I just started reading my Bible and God changed the way I thought about things. Thus, my life changed. So while I was there, I met this guy, Mike Gomez, who played guitar. He has his own little story going on. But essentially, we got together and, it just seemed like, there's a bunch of stuff going on here, too. Like, within a couple of weeks of meeting him, we had written songs, are on TV in the Dominican Republic. We recorded a little EP in the capital.
And all of this on this mission trip, and you'd only been there like...
I was there 2 months, and so this was... I probably met him maybe 2 or 3 weeks into it, and so, but again, it was like rapid fire, kind of stuff, and we just saw God kind of opening doors, and we thought we were going to be famous overnight.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Now flash forward, it's been what 10 years now.
You
And you guys were not an overnight success. A lot of years went into this, and you've got a chance to play some big shows with some big bands like Casting Crowns, Third Day, and Toby Mac. So here's what I want to do. I want to do something new with you called One Word. Okay, I want you in one word to sum up your either relationship, your experience with, or what you think about each of those artists. We'll start with Casting Crowns. You want to take this one, Mike? That's not a word, by the way.
In Spanish, it is.
Yeah, okay.
I can't. I was hoping you said Third Day so I can say facial hair or hair.
Well, there you go. That works. We'll start with them. That's my first reaction to the Mac Pal. So,
Mark Powell.
I would have gone with either facial hair or just low voice. That's another one too. Like he's got that growl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
though.
I got a word for Casting Crowns. Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I would have humble
Okay.
as one, and then I would also have family as one. If I could sum it up in one. I mean, I'm really trying hard with this filter thing.
Okay.
So please forgive me. So I'm about to say many things, and I think, is that okay? But either way, they're just, the cool thing about them is they're just regular people that happen to, make music, and it connects with people. I really like that, whereas like you're going to say Toby, and Toby is super humble and super nice, and, he really takes the time for people, and I just watching him this past time in Florida that we were doing this conference, and you just see him talking with different people, and I like that. But if I had one word for him, it would be, I don't know, Mac Daddy or rock star, or
I would have gone with deep pools of blue, incomprehensible blue, like that for his eyes.
That's not a word. That's
well,
like
I know, but
phrase.
Toby gets more.
Wait.
Toby gets more than a word. Let's be honest.
That's true. I would have said hat.
Hat, yes, that's good. Or bald, because that goes with hat. No, I'm kidding.
oh wow,
He's not losing his hair at all.
No.
is he? Because I saw him. He had this beautiful like pompadour. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I'd like to have something like that.
I know. So, no, he is a good guy. That is the thing about him. Humble and Casting Crowns also the same way.
Yeah.
Like, I've always had a lot of respect for both of those artists. I don't know Third Day that well, actually.
We don't know. We've only played with them once, and
Yeah, I was praying to because in the Dominican I was such an awesome fan of Third Day 10 years ago, and one day we got to play with them. I'm like, God, this is awesome.
That had to be cool.
Yeah, I want to meet Mac Powell, and there I am changing my shirt, so I have no shirt on, and then walks
you don't wanna
Mac
see that.
Powell,
Yeah.
and he sees me and smile, and I'm like, wow.
Hey, dude,
Thank you, Lord.
Hey, at least he smiled,
This
huh?
is how I get to meet.
With my shirt off.
Yes.
my mother-in-law actually they were on their way to New York last week, and my mother-in-law was flying home, and she, saw one of them on their MacBook because they were on the same flight to Newark or Manhattan or whatever. And she was like, "Are you in a band?" And I said,
My
"Yeah,
son is in a
Third Day."
band.
No, and she said, "My son-in-law's in a band. Do you know him? Unspoken." And they actually said yes because our manager's good friends with him.
At least they knew. That's kind of
Yeah,
nice.
well, they might have just been nice because maybe only Mac knows.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But either way, it was kind of embarrassing.
You can never fall too high, so fast, so far that you can't get back. When you're lost, where you are is never too late. So bad, so much that you can't.
This is the Wally Show. We got Chad and Mike from the band Unspoken, and I didn't know how to really process you guys when I first heard the music. I loved it. Like that song, "Who You Are," I liked it immediately. But it was weird. There was almost I didn't know if you were like this boy band kind of thing. And I don't say that. Please don't take offense at this
fine.
because you're wearing like flannel and you could kill me. But like I didn't know how to take it, and I wasn't sure. And then I met you, and I'm like, oh, this guy's the furthest thing from that. Like you're this like actually edgy kind of guy that constantly has to monitor himself in this world.
Yes.
And so
true.
Inside of this Christian culture and inside of this world, it can be very difficult. Like I came from outside mainstream radio, and it's hard for me sometimes that things that aren't a big deal to me don't seem like a big deal, or I don't think should be. All of a sudden, you do something and the world caves in on you, and you break these social norms that you have no idea, and it's tricky to figure those out.
I really do think that it's really a lot about balance, of there are things that are black and white, and there are things that are gray, but trying to find that balance according to God's word, and I think is the thing that I have had hard time over the years, kind of going from that drug culture into Christian music. And again, I was so raw. I mean, I remember Mike and I, so we went to the Dominican Republic. Mike and I moved back to Maine a few months later, and we bought my grandparents' old Fleetwood Cadillac, Shark Blue.
Nice.
And never thought we'd get married because the car was so ugly. But it was huge. And I remember being in traffic and being driving and just going off, like out of frustration and stuff. And you could see Mike just kind of sitting there like a kid, like, oh my gosh, what the heck's wrong with this guy? So, I mean, it's been a process of, God changing our heart. And I think that's the biggest thing about the gospel is that, we don't have to worry about all those things. That's not our job to change everything, all at once. It's our job to draw near to God. And as we do that, God changes our heart, changes the way we think about things, and delivers us from different things. I mean, I'm not in recovery from drugs anymore, but I'm in recovery from a million other things.
Right.
It's not one process. So I think all of us as believers have to be gracious and patient, because we're knuckleheads, especially guys.
Yeah, that's the thing too. A lot of times, like we expect everybody to be at the same place that we are now, but we forget it took years to get to that certain understandings of certain things about God. And we so focus on the rules of our religion and like, oh, well, you have to do this, this, and this, and this. And we almost circumvent the relationship. Because if you have the relationship part right, then the outward things will start to change because God will change you from the inside. It changes your desires and what you actually go and do at that point in time. I think that's where we kind of get it squirrely.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's building those things in love. Like if you meet somebody and you're not in the same place spiritually, whatever you feel like you need to criticize or anything or correct, if you can call it whatever you want, you need to base that on love.
Yeah.
Because if not, it's just not constructive whatsoever. You're just trying to, maybe you think that you have it all together, and that in itself is probably the wrong way to start to looking at those things because we all got things and none of us are really there, as far as like, okay, I have arrived and the way I pray is the way you're supposed to pray or the way I worship is how it's supposed to be and all those things, and sometimes we just want everybody to fall, meet our
standards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's one way to grow up. As you grow up in your Christian walk, you start understanding that it is not like that.
It's a walk. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like you're not finished.
For sure,
yeah,
exactly.
Without a doubt. Now, you guys have penned the song "Who You Are," which I'm not done with yet. Mm-hmm. I'm not done with it yet. I like it, but you have to write other songs, apparently.
I know, that stinks.
Yeah, I know, kind of a bummer. But, you have another song called Lift My Life Up, all right? Mm-hmm. Now, this is new music from you. Can you tell me kind of about the genesis of this song or where it came from?
This is, it's been a great season for us in so many ways, but when things change, you have to adapt, and you have other struggles, I mean, there's just every season kind of brings these different challenges. And so for us, although very exciting that our song is doing well after all these years, we finally get the opportunity to be a part of what Christian radio gets to do, which is incredible, and it's humbling for us every time we hear our song on the radio to say, man, thank you, God, that we get to take part in this, but in reaching people. But I think for me, I was so torn. After 10 years, I've got 3 kids, I've got a wife, and I was really struggling with anxiety. We're just about to go on tour with Sanctus Real, and it was kind of like, I didn't know if I wanted to do it anymore. I didn't know if I should do it. I didn't know, if I was a jerk because I was, out doing what I love to do and for the Lord, but, I leaving my family behind, and I could be a worship pastor and use my gifts. And so
be at home with your family.
Exactly.
That would be tough.
So it's all these things, and I guess, after just not having peace and just really struggling with these things, I was reading in Matthew 6, and I've got it right here. It says this. It says, so don't worry about these things, saying, what will we eat? What will we drink? What will we wear? Substitute whatever you're going through. These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers, but your heavenly Father already knows your needs. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. Ends with verse 34. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring its own worries. Today is enough for today. And I guess it just come to that point that I'm not going to have all the answers, even though I so badly want them and I think I need them now. What I really need to do is slow down and take today as an opportunity to draw near to God, to love my family, to do what I can in the community, to serve, to whatever it is. And I find that that's a pathway to peace. And, when I'm worrying about all these things, I'm really not enjoying my time with my family.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm really not being used by God because I'm so distracted by these worries and things that consume our thoughts. It's easy to do. There's no simple answer but to just draw close to God, seek God above all else, live right, and God gives us what we need. And so, although I don't have all the answers and it's not all fixed, I'm just about to go out with Big Daddy Weave and Chris August. Super psyched about it. We leave on Friday, and I've got a pit in my stomach, which just keeps me close to God in regards to saying, Lord, I love what I do. And I know it's important, and I know, God, you use it. But I hate leaving my family,
right.
and I all of these different things. So it's one of those things that even now, I was just telling Mike on the ride in, I've just felt so discontent, in these last few days. I'm working on my house. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I know I'm about ready to go. And I'm just reminded this morning to just stay close to God. As we stay close to God, He gives us the peace we need for today, and then we can enjoy what we do have.
For the record, when you get sick of traveling around the country doing the rock star thing, you actually will be a great worship pastor. Just do all of that stuff and then just ramp into the song, and then you're good to go.
Yeah,
like everything
you
you just said, nailed it.
You can never fall too high, so fast, so far that you can't get back when you're lost. Where you was never too late, so bad, so much that you can't change. You can never fall too high.
This is the Wally Show. I still, man, Unspoken and their song "Who You Are," still dig that song, and you've changed a lot of lives with that song for sure. And I'm wondering if you can help me with something that I have going on in my life. Okay, I know you look at me now and you're like, man, he's so cool. Wasn't always the case. As
I
a
can
kid.
see that.
Yeah, okay. As a kid growing up, so I would journal about it. I would write down things in my 6th grade journal about these experiences, and they were a little traumatic, sometimes embarrassing, and I still, to this day, they affect me. And so what I like to do is if we have, artists of your caliber come in, say, hey, here's a page from my 6th grade journal. Can you take this story and my scattered ramblings and somehow make a beautiful song out of it to usher in healing for me? And that's what I'd like you guys to do. Are you up for the challenge?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, now you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to do something to like one of your own songs or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just something that will bring beauty from my pain, okay? You ready?
Got this.
All right, here we go. It's Unspoken with my 6th grade journal song.
I finally got a ride home in a car with my dream girl. And that's when I got car sick and thought, oh man, I'm gonna hurl. I tried my best to hold it. In the end, it was no use. I just lost my lunch all over her new shoes. Then I heard her scream, you are so gross. Is that your toast? In my hair, everywhere in the car it stinks. I think that you should just walk home and stop the car. Ooh, oh, oh. Please, Mom, stop the car. Ooh. Oh, oh, please, Mom, stop the car. Oh, oh, please, Mom, and you. Oh, oh, get out of the car.
I don't know how to thank you guys, but thank you. That was a thing of beauty.
We hope this brings healings to your soul.
It does. It brings healings to my soul. Thank
Closure
you.
and all that.
And all of that good stuff. I appreciate you more now than ever.
You don't understand what you've done for us by taking the time to write in your journal. You have blessed us in an amazing way.
That's
so,
awesome. I'm
yes.
glad that my pain could be some kind of gain for you
Sometimes
guys.
pain's the
your
only
pain
way
was
to
my
learn.
joy.
Yeah, yes,
Your pain was my
exactly.
joy.
So thank you very much. We got the guys, Chad and Mike from the band Unspoken. They have a bunch of new songs out, as always. Not only just their one song, Who You Are, but also listen for their other new song, and we're going to be playing it, Lift My Life Up. So there you go. I appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you. God bless
Thank you
you.
so much.